13 years after Madeleine McCann went missing during a vacation with her family in Portugal, authorities believe that they may have some new answers.
The most famous cold case in the world, the Madeleine McCann mystery, is active again.
It's an official announcement that there is a possibility that Maddie McCann is still alive.
On the 3rd of May, 2007, the McCann family celebration turned into every parent's worst nightmare. Their 3-year-old daughter, Madeleine McCann, disappeared from her room and remained missing for almost 2 decades. Madeleine's case became one of the most famous missing person cases in the world, and despite years of intense investigations, no one knew what happened to her. But recent reports have claimed that Madeleine has been found. Is this the truth or a case of mistaken identity? Let's take a deep dive. The heartbreaking disappearance of Madeleine McCann shocked the world. She was just 3 years old when she went missing from a holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, Portugal. Madeleine was born on the 12th of May, 2003 in Leicester, England. She was a bright, happy, and outgoing young girl. Her family was on vacation at the Ocean Club Resort in Portugal just days before her 4th birthday when tragedy struck. Madeleine had been put to bed alongside her 2-year-old twin siblings, Shaw and Emily, while her parents, Jerry and Kate McCann, went to dine at a nearby tapas restaurant. However, the restaurant didn't have a direct view of the children's bedroom. The area was blocked by hedges and buildings, making it hard to see the apartment from where they sat. To keep the children safe, the parents and their friends took turns checking on them throughout the evening. Around 9 o'clock at night, one of those checks took place. At around 9:05 p.m., Jerry went back to the apartment to do one of the regular checks. He noticed the door was slightly open, which was different from how they had left it. Still, when he looked inside, he saw all 3 children sleeping peacefully. On his way back to dinner, Jerry stopped to chat with another guest. Around 9:30 p.m., one of their friends, Matthew Oldfield, offered to check on the McCann children while also checking on his own children, who were in the apartment next door. He looked into the room but didn't go all the way in. Later, he told Kate and Jerry that everything seemed fine. At 10 o'clock, Kate got up from the table and walked back to the apartment for her turn to check on the kids. When she entered, she saw that the children's bedroom door was wide open. As she tried to close it slightly, a gust of wind made it slam shut. Alarmed, she went into the room to check on the kids. "I thought maybe I had left the patio doors open, but I hadn't," Kate later said. She opened the bedroom door a little and tried to find Madeleine in the dark. "It sounds silly," she recalled, "but I didn't turn the light on. You try not to wake your children." Then suddenly she realized Madeleine wasn't there. Kate quickly checked her own bedroom, thinking Madeleine might have wandered in while half asleep, but she wasn't there either. A scared Kate ran back to the children's room, and that's when she saw it. The window was wide open, and the shutters had been lifted. That's when the terrible truth hit her. Someone had taken Madeleine. "I ran around the apartment quickly. I already knew what had happened, but I was desperate," Kate said. She then ran to the restaurant and shouted, "Madeleine's gone." The alarm was raised, and what followed became a global manhunt that would last nearly 20 years. After her disappearance, the entire resort community jumped into action, searching everywhere for the missing 3-year-old. But despite fast and widespread efforts, there was no sign of her. What began as a happy family vacation had turned into a nightmare, one that would haunt the McCann family and shock the world for years. The case quickly drew international attention. News outlets around the world reported every new detail. In the early years after she disappeared, there was a lack of clear contact between the Portuguese and British police, which slowed things down. The Portuguese police were especially heavily criticized. Many people felt they were too slow to reach out to police in other countries for help. Later, British police also faced challenges when they began assisting with parts of the case. Differences in culture and working practices between the Portuguese and British police sometimes caused stress, slowdowns, and poor communication. Initially, the Portuguese police suspected that Madeleine might have walked off on her own or been taken by an unknown person. However, the case soon took a different and more controversial path. Madeleine's parents were named as suspects, although they were later cleared and found not guilty. This change in direction wasted valuable time and may have distracted from other potential clues. This case has highlighted the importance of international cooperation and the necessity for more efficient and transparent systems for addressing missing persons cases, particularly when multiple countries are involved. When a child is taken across borders, it becomes much harder to handle. Police in different countries often struggle to work together due to varying laws, languages, and cultural differences. These issues can make it more challenging to follow clues and slow down the process. For example, the initial Portuguese investigation failed to preserve the scene adequately, resulting in the loss of the opportunity to gather forensic evidence from Madeleine's room at the place where the family stayed. At the heart of all this, despite the complex details and challenges, what everyone wanted to know from all the investigation was what really happened to Madeleine McCann. This was where Germany came in with a new investigation. They had 60 people of interest, 38 of whom they were investigating. Portuguese prosecutors had allowed them to search only one of 3 sites they had asked for access to. At the center of this new investigation was Christian Bruckner, a German who is now in prison for completely separate crimes. Germany's fresh interest in Bruckner brought new energy to the investigation. At the time of Madeleine's case, Bruckner already had a history of serious offenses in many parts of Europe. He had been living in the Algarve area of Portugal, the same place where Madeleine went missing. Bruckner, who spent many years of his life in the Algarve, was what was known as a drifter, a petty criminal, and a convicted sex offender. And it all looked like the pieces were falling into the right places. It really seemed that the mystery might finally be solved. Bruckner's long list of previous convictions includes ones for abusing children in 1994 and 2016. As time went on, police started to find troubling links between him and the night when Madeleine disappeared. In 2020, police in Germany officially named Bruckner as a suspect. They said his phone had received a call in Praia da Luz, the same place where the McCann family was staying on the night Madeleine disappeared. Along with the phone records, other clues started to appear. Reports said Bruckner had made strange comments to people he knew, comments that hinted he might have been involved in Madeleine's disappearance. Since then, investigators have searched properties linked to him in both Germany and Portugal. For many people who have followed the case over the years, Bruckner appears to be the most credible suspect in a long time. His past crimes, the fact that he was in the area, and other evidence make him a person of great interest. However, proving someone is guilty without Madeleine's remains or solid forensic evidence remains very challenging. If Bruckner is the person who took Madeleine, his past raises serious concerns. It makes people wonder if there are enough rules in place to prevent individuals with similar criminal histories from causing harm again. Bruckner has a long history of crime, and his ability to move around Europe over the years shows how hard it is for police to keep track of dangerous people after they are released. While the possible link between Bruckner and Madeleine's disappearance might help answer some questions, it may not explain everything. Even if he is proven guilty, many aspects of what happened that night will likely remain unknown. This lack of clear answers is one of the most challenging aspects for families in similar situations. Not knowing can sometimes hurt more than knowing the truth, even if the truth is painful. Has Madeleine McCann been found? The German lead prosecutor thinks she might have been murdered. This investigator was working with the Bundy's criminal lab, the German equivalent of the FBI, and he was the one who initially identified Bruckner as a potential suspect. In his words, the evidence is strong enough to say that the girl is dead and to accuse a specific individual of murder. And his conclusion didn't just come out of thin air. While after almost 20 years there are still no clear answers about what happened to Madeleine, recently a man who used to know Bruckner, the main suspect, spoke out for the first time. This man, who is being called LGB, gave police important information that first led them to suspect Bruckner. Bruckner is currently in prison in Germany for hurting an elderly woman. In an interview with a German newspaper, LGB said he once had a very disturbing conversation with Bruckner. Police in Germany, Portugal, and Britain have spent many years trying to find out what happened to Madeleine, but they still have very little clear evidence. A recent search near a lake close to where she disappeared did not uncover anything new. Another major problem in this case, and many others, is the huge amount of information police must go through. Tips and sightings come in from all over the world. Each one has to be checked. Each piece of evidence must be reviewed. Even the best police forces can become overwhelmed. In Madeleine's case, people said they saw her in countries like Morocco, Australia, and the United States. Each report had to be followed up on, and that takes a lot of time and effort. LGB said he found videos in Bruckner's apartment that showed him mistreating women. He said, "I couldn't believe it." He and Bruckner saw each other again 1 year after Madeleine went missing, at a festival in Spain. Bruckner asked if he still did business in Portugal. This was when the topic of Madeleine McCann's disappearance came up because LGB answered that there were too many police checks after the British girl's disappearance. He then said, "I don't understand how the little girl could vanish without a trace." Bruckner replied, "She didn't even scream." The next day, Bruckner disappeared. Helgi says it was clear to him what Bruckner meant. He began to suspect Bruckner knew more about what happened to Madeleine. He tried contacting police in London several times but said he got no reply. Years later, in 2018, German police reached out to him asking for witnesses who could talk about what was seen in the videos from Bruckner's home. LGB believes Bruckner had planned to break into the McCann's holiday apartment but instead found the children sleeping and took Madeleine. He said it likely was not something Bruckner had planned, but he believes Bruckner is the one who took her and that, sadly, Madeleine is no longer alive. Despite the efforts of both the Portuguese police and the British police, who still carried out their own private investigations, independent private investigators got involved. Even with all their hard work and money spent, no clearer answers have been found. So the German police decided to move in with the evidence they had on Bruckner, which was not much, and the suspect knew this. Because after his arrest, he sent a letter to a media company saying it is the important questions, the decisive questions, that can never be answered. Was I or my vehicle clearly seen near the crime scene on the night of the crime? Is there DNA evidence of me at the crime scene? Are there DNA traces of the injured party in my vehicle? Are there other traces, DNA carriers of the injured party in my possession, photos, and don't forget, is there a body, a corpse? All no, no, no. This might have felt like a taunt, but it was a taunt that was going to pay off later for the suspect. The prosecutors decided to put Bruckner on trial for rape and unconnected attempted child abductions, but the court in Germany acquitted Bruckner and he was cleared by the court of unrelated sexual offenses alleged to have taken place in Portugal between the years 2000 and 2017. Everyone working on the case is aware that concrete and physical evidence is needed to back up the statements of LGB. The internet continues to play a significant role in this case. Madeleine disappeared around the time when social media and online discussion forums were becoming popular. These new platforms provided the public with a way to participate in the case. Some online groups helped by sharing news and possible clues, but others spread false information or pushed unsupported ideas. Over the years, there were guesses about child trafficking, mistaken identity, and even strange conspiracy theories. In fact, there were people who claimed to have seen Madeleine in various countries. On the one hand, public help led to helpful information, on the other hand, it confused and shifted focus away from objective evidence. Also, the role of the media in this case cannot be ignored. Every new development was closely examined by reporters. This high level of attention yielded both positive and negative results. On one hand, it kept the case in the public eye, but on the other hand, Madeleine's parents faced constant pressure. Some news stories made unfair claims that hurt their names and caused deep emotional pain. While the public shared deep sympathy for the family, they also faced intense criticism. Many people questioned why the McCanns had left their children alone in the apartment while they dined nearby. Others wondered what could have happened during those crucial moments when no one was watching Madeleine. Still, the McCanns never gave up. Their strength, supported by public interest and international attention, helped keep the investigation alive. Kate and Jerry McCann have shown strong and steady determination. Their deep belief that their daughter Madeleine might still be alive has been a powerful source of strength through this terrible situation. However, the news they have received in 2025 has not been good. Investigators looking into the disappearance of Madeleine are putting an end to their latest searches. After 3 days scouring the scrubland and abandoned structures that surround the scene of the incident, it was reported that officers could be seen holding pitchforks as they combed the land in an area on the outskirts of Lagos in Portugal. While British officers have not been present at the latest searches, search teams of German and Portuguese police officers, as well as firefighters, used pickaxes and shovels to dig through some of the undergrowth, and a digger was again used to remove rubble from one of the abandoned structures at the site. Personnel have spent 2 days focusing on one particular derelict building, using a ground-penetrating radar on the cobbled ground after clearing the area of debris and vegetation using a digger and chainsaws. This is painful to authorities who have hoped to get evidence to use against Bruckner, who is due to be released from jail in September if no further charges are brought. Even Helga B. commented on the failure of the investigators to get evidence. They have to find something because time is running out. Bruckner could go free in September, and if he does, he will disappear. There has to be some hope for Madeleine's parents. Jerry and Kate made no comment about the ending of the search for evidence. Who can blame them? They did post a statement on their website recently. They wrote, "As we arrive at the 18th anniversary of Madeleine's abduction, we'd like to thank our faithful supporters once again for standing by us and never forgetting about Madeleine. The years appear to be passing even more quickly, and whilst we have no significant news to share, our determination to leave no stone unturned is unwavering. We will do our utmost to achieve this." It is impressive that they are still optimistic, because this case remains one of the most heartbreaking and mysterious disappearances in modern history. Ultimately, the McCann case serves as an important reminder of why child protection must be a top priority at all times. People are hoping that new information will surface which may either bring some answers or maybe closure.